What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mock my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I'm your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at News Nerds Need at Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And the sound effects that you have heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, @agent_70 on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings, live and direct, coming at you Thanksgiving weekend.
We're Brooklyn at, we're Brooklyn at, we're Brooklyn at.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
There it is. Shout out to Benji Games 2 in the chat who says that live in studio audience is going wild tonight. Love it. We are coming a couple of days late, so they missed us. So it was like, you know what? We finally got it. They just decided to get riled up. So it's
Absolutely
good. But you can find this here podcast on the Coldest Leather Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find this on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the other places.
That's right. Make sure to click a like, subscribe, all those other places, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Because I'm saying, like, do people even use SoundCloud anymore? That was, I don't think SoundCloud is popular.
At some point, we have to update all of our reads. So
this is true. This is absolutely true. But yeah, we'll see about that at some point. Maybe beginning of the year. Who knows? Clean sweeps and all that. But right now, we're gonna try to sweep through these here comic books of the week. But first, before I even say that, no, actually, I'll save that because we got some news coming about something that we are both excited about, and when we get there, we shall be excited about it a lot. Granted. So we are absolutely going to get into the books of the week, starting off with. Oh, I didn't pull up the sound bite, so I'll have to do it in post. Or Agent 7's got it. ThunderCats, number 21.
Okay, so we're leading off with ThunderCats 21. Here we go. ThunderCats 21, published by Dynamite, is written by Declan Shalvey with art by Drew Moss, colors by Arancia Studio, and letters are by Jeff Eckelberry. So, the prodigal son has finally returned. Finally!
On his own accord.
Rock, yes, finally the Rock has come back to the cat's lair. Right? So who has been MIA for the longest time? One Lion-O. And, we just kind of get, kind of a glossed over look at what has happened to poor Lion-O. And, we get his relatively triumphant return. And ironically, at the same time, we also seem to foreshadow the comeuppance for another character who has long been apart from these pages. And with that, I'll hand this off to Roddykat.
Yeah, that part I wasn't expecting. Well, I guess it should have, because we have long since talked about, like, yeah, this character's got a lot of explaining to do, and
right,
sure enough,
you know,
yeah, Right, right. And sure enough, especially given the fact that he's corporeal, first of all, as he's classically not known to be. Um,
That's true.
But they said it at the beginning of the book, everything is about to change. So I assuming with that statement, that means that whatever he's got to say is going to answer the rest of the questions that we have. And probably some of which that will probably be left just a smidgen of for ThunderCats Lost, which comes out next week, probably. I don't know, but
right, which I have not yet, which I have not kept up with. I know the Roddykat has kept up with it, so
Right.
I may have to binge read quite a few comics to catch up on ThunderCats Lost.
Yeah, they're fairly quick reads, I would say, the way they were written. That's not a knock on it, but I'm just saying, you know, they read fairly briskly.
All right,
Maybe with the exception of like one, but you know.
gotcha.
But that being said, like I said, that'll be for next week. But so yeah, I guess the thing that was funny about this particular issue was what Agent 70 said, in that like they had been saying for issues like, we got to go look for Lion-O, we got to go look for Lion-O, and then he just comes strolling through the door. I'm like, hey y'all, I'm back. I'm like,
I mean, they explain who found him, but he didn't exactly go back right away.
right. Yes. And we saw that in quote unquote real time when that happened. So that's that. But at the same time, it was like, well, I guess we didn't see all of it. I didn't phrase that. We saw it about to happen, and we saw them being around for things, but we didn't necessarily see the whole action of it. But
exactly. We didn't see blow by blow exactly what happened.
Right.
What we got into this very glossed over recap is what actually happened.
Right. So, and some of that we did actually see, but it was like, yeah, then there was some stuff that's like, yeah, da. So that being said, I was kind of hoping, like, okay, they were just going to go searching for him, and then something was going to happen. They got in trouble, just like in the classic cartoons, and then he's just going to show up. And I actually totally forgot that the sword had been broken, which is another point that had got me tripping on in this issue, because we find out the status of the Sword of Omens at this point now, or what is now the new status, the new old status of the sword. And I'm saying, like, you couldn't have done that well before now.
Right. So check this out. Right. So check it out. So I bumped on that so hard.
I did too.
because I'm like, wait, we're not trying to recruit any dwarves or elves or something to reforge the sword.
Right. Like nothing they did in the old cartoon, which is fine. That part is fine. But at the same time, like, wait, I would expected, again, just like when he came back, I expected there to be a little bit more to it than just like, oh, foop, pop.
Right. Like someone was watching Ragnarok, or no, not Ragnarok. Love and Thunder.
Oh,
yeah. A little bit too much, right? Because, you know, even in the comics, they have to like kind of reforge for the most part, unless you got like the Odin power to like pull together, you know, like the broken hammer.
Apparently he does.
Right? So I'm like, wait a second, what is this?
Right.
I'm like, Aragorn didn't do this, you know? I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Because like I said, I also bumped on it.
I bumped on this so hard.
Yeah. Like I said, that was the two things I bumped on. Him just walking back through the door and the sword thing. I'm sitting here like, wait, what? And again, you couldn't have done that before. You just like, you went on your spirit walk and you know, and not necessarily spirit walk, but you know what I'm saying. He went on his walkabout and came back a slightly changed man. Like maybe we'll get some, you know, we'll get into some more of what he got into, because they kind of glossed over. They kind of touched on it a little bit here and there in the bad, but we didn't really see, you know, like I said, his full adventures or whatnot. But that part was just like, okay, that's like, that part actually made me think it was like, wait, are they ending the book? And they just wanted to get some stuff back to status quo? But then like it comes to the end, and what happens at the end? Like, okay, no, we're still good here. We still got some stuff going on, as far as we could tell. But yeah, that had me tripping very hard on that part, and him just like walking back through the door. So, but yeah, the one of the cool things though, or one of the well, actually the other thing that's slightly bumped on, but at the same time, I kind of get it. So he walks back in the door, tells everybody like, "Hey, mea culpa, I left, this and that and the other, and not to give away too much about it, and because you can read about what he actually says and what he's but he does a couple of things with a couple of characters. He settles some things with a couple of characters. One of them in the smoothest way possible, kind of, but at the same time, I was like, it should have taken a little bit more than that. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? That was kind of smooth, though. That was actually kind of smooth. I'm gonna let that one pass. But the sword thing, nah, we bump it on that one hard. But yeah, and it's all. But also, it's like, is this other person now anointed? Because there was a panel that made it seem like, okay, it seemed like before Lionel's interacted with the character, it seemed like, okay, so that person's a full-on ThunderCat now, and no ceremony. So I'm like, okay, we'll see how that works out. But you kind of figured it was going to happen, but just you figured there would have been a little more ceremony too. But I'm also thinking in the ways of the cartoon, and probably I shouldn't be.
Right.
Nevertheless, just kind of keeps this pushing though. It was still a good read outside of the couple of things that we bumped up on, but at the same time, it was like, man. I was like, I guess I was like, you know what? We don't want to belabor that part too much, so we just go ahead and clean it up real quick and keep it pushing. But still,
I definitely found myself, not even scratching my head. It was definitely like, I'm looking for the right.
What the?
That was kind of me.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Right.
So.
And the funny part is this. Now I have seen, if you think back to the sound bite at the beginning of us talking about this, that being used in so many different ways during the cartoon, mostly of course to call everybody, but so you see a thing happen here on those lines, and I'm like, wait, why is he calling everybody? They're right, everybody right. Wait, oh, okay, and which kind of leads to a thing. And I'm sitting and I'm like, okay, you know what? The sword does a lot of things. Granted, self-healing was not one of them. So, but anyway, we're gonna keep it because we could probably talk about that another 20 minutes, and we're all gonna come back to the same point. Is that's a wild ass shit to do for this? That is wild. Especially for us of a certain vintage who know the cartoons at least enough to know that, hey, that ain't how stuff would go. Or any other, as they just said, or any other like thing. Like you don't see Cap just picking up the shield, pieces of the shield, and it goes zoop.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen.
Unless there's something, it happened once.
But there was
Secret
some magic
Wars at the end of Secret Wars, right? Because of the Beyonders' power still being infused in the planet.
Yeah, no, that's different. But that's not the shield. I'm just saying.
It's literally the power of a cosmic cube,
right? That's not just Cap, just like poof, on his own will.
Yep.
But anyway, that's ThunderCats 21. Weirdly enough, I'm going to say with everything, all of that, I'm going to still say it's a potential click of the week for me. But that's because I don't really have much on those lines of that. So we'll talk about that in a second. As we go on to the next book that we talk about, which is also cat themed, by the way, in the pages of Black Cat number 4 or 5.
Alrighty, Black Cat number 4 of 5, published by Marvel, is written by G. Willow Wilson with art by Gleb Melnikov. Colors are by Brian Reber, and letters are by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramagna. So we have here a little bit of exposition, much more like uh, a quick meeting between the main antagonist of this little mini series, that being Tombstone, with the Black Cat, and trying to figure out where the Black Cat stands on, things now, as she's kind of made it she's kind of made it very very clear to most of the public, even through social media, that she may have turned over a new leaf, that she may be going in a different direction, a direction that is not traditional for her, we'll put it that way. And ultimately we see where this issue takes us, which is kind of making something of a Faustian bargain. We'll see if that lasts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see some of the reference work that Gleb Melnikov puts into some of the art here, where there's a particular panel, it's a small panel, that puts Black Cat running across rooftops in like certain neighborhoods of Brooklyn that look very familiar to me. Even just at first glance, I'm like, oh my God,
nice.
did someone take a photo of that area and make that look like a particular neighborhood? But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And with that, I'll hand it off to Roddykat.
Yeah, there's really not much else to say on it, but there's a couple of things that kind of tickled me when Felicia was talking to Sandman, and she mentions basically where she thought she was going, and Sandman was like, "Well, now I'm just picturing you in that place now." I'm like, "Okay, Sam, you're nasty, but but it's all good though." Outside of that, yeah, this book's been pretty good. It's definitely tying back into. I think Agent 70 probably can confirm this a little bit more than I can, because I have not caught up on Amazing Spider-Man, but it's definitely tied into what it seems to be tied into what's going on over there in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's it's tangent that makes some sense,
right? So, yeah, and there's a couple of, I was about to say, a couple of things get set up, and I mean that in one direct way. There was definitely a setup. And some would also say, Q Akbar.
Yeah, right. No, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. That is definitely very much,
It's a trap.
So we find Felicia in a state at the end of this issue, and I'm sure she'll be able to get out of it, or something's gonna happen. But there's also in closing, like there's also a little bit of no good deed goes unpunished, and
right.
You can think about as she and Tombstone were talking, and then what happens after that, So it's like, well, I guess next issue, being the last one, we're going to see where she finally falls, which is probably going to be back on the side of the not so straight and narrow. But we shall see. All right. The last book that we have in common, and also the last book for me, DCKO number 2 of 5.
DCKO number 2 of 5, published by DC, is written by Scott Snyder. There's an interlude written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Javi Fernandez. The art on the interlude is by Hermonico. Colors are by Alejandro Sanchez, and letters are by Hassan Othmani El Hou. So, I will say that the second contest for these champions of the
Nice.
DC universe, right? No pun intended. Is very reminiscent of the premise of the contest between the Avengers and the Justice League and JLA Avengers.
Okay.
Written by Kurt Busiek and with art by George Perez, you know, from the mid 2000s, the mid aughts. Right, very reminiscent, where they're chasing after these artifacts of power, mainly, you know, obviously in this case it's mainly all like strictly from the DC universe, that is.
Right. Oh, well, except for one that potentially could be from the Marvel universe, but you know.
Right, except the hammer looked very weird. It looked very weird. I was like, what? You know, that's a pretty weird looking hammer. But that's one way to differentiate it from the Marvel version. So.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, with that said, I'll hand it off to Roddykat to go into further detail. But that, you know, I kind of got a kick out of seeing the premise of this particular contest being laid out that way. And I think the one thing that is a minor spoiler that I'll drop is that now we're down to half of what we started with.
Yeah, we came into this issue with 32, and now we're at the 16. I don't know what that is called in sports ball, but I would assume that's like the semifinals or something. I don't freaking know. Playoffs, whatever levels.
No, just, you know, listen. At the end of the day, we got down to a Sweet 16.
There you go. There we go. I couldn't remember what that was. Sports ball, folks. But yeah. They cut back and forth. Well, they don't necessarily cut back and forth, but at the beginning of it and parts at the end, they go back to the whole game night situation where, you know, it presented a conundrum for Clark, which ends up being a lesson for him later on, which you know, comes into play. You see, I as I called it in my notes, attack on Joker, because of a thing that happens in the book. Because of what he gets his hands on, and you know, just a whole bunch of things going on. Now, back to what Agent 70 said real quick. I would not be surprised if that was intentional. I don't remember JLA Avengers like that. I feel like I probably read it at some point. I don't know, but yeah, I don't remember. You know, as close as you do. So I would not be surprised if Scott Snyder was like, "Oh yeah, we can use this for this, because why not?" Who's gonna know except for some old heads? Yeah, no. So, but yeah, we had a new round. We had a new location. A bunch of things happened. Some bars were given between a couple of the characters. One known for rhyming, and the other one just was like, "Shut up." And yeah, well, we see a whole bunch of folks that we don't know. Well, actually, that's all right. We see some of these people sometimes, but there's a couple of characters we have seen in other stuff, but not at all in a whole lot. But what we do know is that a new challenger enters the ring. That's gonna muck things up. But we knew this person was gonna eventually roll up in here at some point. I feel like that could have been kind of kept behind the shadows a little bit more, but at the same time, you know what? We know about it, and the people participating don't. So it still works out.
And at the end of the day, it's a 5-issue limited series.
Correct.
So you figure that if they're going to do reveal, it's going to be in issue 3.
Right. For the characters, right? So
exactly. Exactly. So they revealed it to us here in issue 2, at the end of issue 2. So you know, we'll see it play out in the story in issue 3.
Actually, no, they revealed it, I think, in 1. But yeah, the fact that the person is coming into things, yeah, they revealed that in this one. So,
right. They hinted at it in issue 1. That's that's really that's really how it played out. But yeah, you know, it's funny. Like, you kind of have to remember that, you know, it's comics. None of this is really permanent, but at the same time, it's kind of, you know, hard to watch some of these characters go down the way they do.
Well, yes, correct. Yeah, because of how things playing off of this. Yeah, definitely. It seems weird, but I was also going to say that, well, this is supposedly in the whole all-in situation, but given what's at play here, you're right.
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah, like that whole attack, the whole attack on Joker part. I'm like, can we get some, characters with some equipment to like kind of fly around and cut him at the neck,
That would have been probably hitting things too close to do that, but that would have been also funny as hell. You would have seen some because lantern rings were in play, so therefore they could have been like, oh, let me do this, and bling, and a couple of people do that while they're messing around with each other. But yeah, it was basically a free for all going on here.
Yeah, I completely blanked on what the equipment in Attack on Titan was called. It's the ODM gear, the omnidirectional mobility gear.
Right. Which, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into that but yeah, that's DCKO 2 of 5. There are some tie-in books that came out this week. Also, neither one of us, as far as I know, I don't think either one of us got to any of them. But I was kind of wondering as I was reading DCKO, I think Superman came out this week, and the cover seems to suggest that it might be. I mean, it is tied in, definitely, but I don't know. It's close and tied into the first part of the book with a couple of characters, but I don't know that.
Right, and Justice League also came out this weekend.
That is correct.
Totally
yes,
didn't get the chance to look at it.
Same, because I don't think I might be behind on an issue on that one. So because that's a part 2 of whatever's going on. So I need to go back and check that out before I hit that one up. In any case, that's that. And that's all of the books that I have. Hey, Agent 70, why don't you hit up some rapid fire?
Rapid fire review time.
I ain't got time to bleed.
All right, rapid fire review time. First up for me is BRZRKR, The Bleeding Tide #1, published by Boom. The best that I can tell, this is a one-shot because of the way this issue ended. Now, we know the concept was created by Keanu Reeves. This book is written by Marjorie Liu, with art by Gary Brown, colors by D. Cuniff, and letters are by Russ Wooten. It's kind of a cool little interlude story. It's kind of a flashback where the BRZRKR character, right, is put into a place in time where it's a little bit more of a swashbuckling time, kind of related to the Crusades because of who they end up fighting, and who he ends up partnering with is traditionally a mythical / mystical type of character. It's a very common character. Think of Anne Rice when I say it's that type of character, and you know what kind of character he's teaming up with. And at the end of the day, it's a nice little interlude that gives the BRZRKR character, whose name escapes me, even though I just read this, a cool little place in history to kind of create a nice little memory for him. That's the best. That's kind of the best part of of this BRZRKR character story, is that he's essentially immortal, and kind of like Highlander, kind of like these characters who find themselves at certain places in the course of time, kind of dropped into real life circumstances and situations, and seeing how they interact with a specific time and place, right? So that's kind of the concept here. It's pretty cool. Marjorie Liu's always going to give you a well-written story. Next up is Absolute Batman #14, published by DC. It's written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta, colors by Frank Martin, and letters by Clayton Cowell. So it's the final showdown between Batman and Bane, and it kind of plays out similar to the way the mainstream Batman defeats Bane, his version of Bane, right? This Absolute Batman kind of defeats Bane in the same way, or a similar way, we'll put it that way, in a similar way, while he's subject to very similar temptations, right? In this version. So it's not, it's nothing we haven't seen before, but Nick Dragata's art is very expressive. It's very extreme in a sense. So it's kind of the first time we're seeing it drawn and depicted in this way. Next up is Absolute Wonder Woman number 14, again published by DC. It's written by Kelly Thompson with art by Matthias Bergara. This is a two-issue arc. So we'll probably have Hayden Sherman come back in the following issue. Colors on this book are by Jordi Belair, and letters are by Becca Carey. So we have this kind of interlude story that's definitely going to come back and tie into probably the next storyline or the storyline after that. It involves, let's just say, an aspect of Diana of Themyscira in this, and we get the guest appearance of a character who hasn't really fully appeared yet, but let's just say their speech pattern appears and is very distinctive. It's not Etrigan, but it sounds like but it's a different style of speaking that is very distinct. And once you see that, it definitely hints at the future appearances of this character. So this issue is bound to have effects on future storylines in Absolute Wonder Woman. Next up is Infernal Hulk number 1, published by Marvel. Infernal Hulk number 1 is written by Phil Kennedy Johnson, with art by Nick Klein, colors by Matthew Wilson, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. I confess, I have not been reading Hulk recently. I've been on and off the book for a long time, especially this most recent run by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Now we're in this Infernal Hulk stage, and I read the very brief setup page that's at the beginning of most of these Marvel books, right? And I made a point of reading this one because I needed help. I needed to understand where this story had been up until this issue. And this issue served up pretty gory, monster issue, right? That's really the point of Philip Kennedy Johnson's run, is that the monsters walk among us. The Hulk is part of this, and now the world is may be infiltrated by monsters in the wake of this infernal situation. So was a tough issue to be the first issue to jump on, but at the same time, I think that it is a pretty good issue to jump on, so long as you're not too stressed about figuring out where we've come from, because I think that it is a good enough premise to keep you coming back to see what's going to happen with the Hulk in this state, in this situation, why this particular Hulk is acting the way he's acting. And at the very least, it's a new Marvel Legend figure. But I feel like this is definitely going to be even a deeper dive into like Marvel horror. It almost strikes me as like a Swamp Thing type dive, into the supernatural, kind of. But it's pretty, it's a pretty gory first issue. So, I don't know if that's the most fair comparison, but that seems to be apt. And last but not least for me is Thor #4. It's published by Marvel. The subtitle is The Mortal Thor. It's written by Al Ewing with art by Juan Cabal. Colors are by Mattia Iacono, and letters are by VC's Joe Sabino. So this is a nice little side story. This is what's happening in Asgard while the mortal Thor is on the mortal coil on Earth. And we find out that, obviously Amora, the Enchantress, is going to do Amora, the Enchantress things. There's even characters that call her out on it. But she's trying to figure out a way to, establish a new place for herself in Asgard in the wake of, what is actually happening to the Odin son. Right now, you have to remember that Al Ewing has been telling stories in the Immortal Thor leading into this volume of the Mortal Thor, where a lot of canon has been revisited, and a character that was to me an afterthought was brought back into play into in the previous volume of Thor, and now that character is taking a bit more of a prominent role, and that character is Magni. And if you need to know who Magni is, you need to do a little bit of searching or just catching up on Immortal Thor so that you know who Magni is. And that really helps lead into what's going on the cover on this, because the cover on this doesn't exactly happen, but definitely involves characters who are prominent in this issue. And with that, I guess that's it for Rapid Fire.
Kliqs of the week.
Kliqs of the week. You're looking at ThunderCats, right?
I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna say my candidates include Black Cat #4 of 5, just because it's a great. The issues are just so well written, and Gleb Melnikov is really good at drawing like a pouty faced Black Cat. Like her expressions are really good. I don't know if I necessarily like the cartoony look that he gives Felicia and a lot of the female characters that he draws, but at the same time I kind of appreciate the expressiveness that he puts into the female characters' faces. Even Night Nurse, right? Who guest appears in this issue. So that's one. I think that Absolute Wonder Woman is a great setup for future stories, and Absolute Batman is well written as a climax to the Bane storyline. And to be honest, that Berserker, the Bleeding Tide #1, is a tight one shot that it was a pretty good read.
I was about to say, so you're saying almost all of your books are potential Kliqs of the week?
I liked a lot of what I read. Nothing is like hitting anybody over the head with a hammer like Thor, right? Like this Thor issue was good, but it kind of seemed like an arc.
Wait, it kind of seemed like what? I'm sorry.
It seemed like a middle issue in an arc.
Okay, there we go. It seemed like you kind of cut out there or something, or
no. It was just kind of the way I decided to pace how I pronounced it. So,
gotcha. Okay,
or enunciated it. So
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of leaning towards Black Cat. I haven't made the decision yet, but I'm leaning towards it.
I mean, Black Cat is definitely is up there. Like I said, I don't really have that much to choose from, given the state. But I mean, I also like there's things in ZCKO I did like, because it was like, again, as I've said before, if you're going to present to me a Contest of Champions situation, and jokers are going to go up against jokers. And if you do it right, which, you know, they did some things here, then you know, I'd be all up on it. That being said, though, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and stick to ThunderCats on this one, though. So
nice. And I'll take the other cat book, Black Cat number 4 of 5. Even though I really did like Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman.
Right. Yeah, like I was telling Agent 70 prior to the show, I'm gonna try to. I am closer to catching up with those two Absolute books, specifically Wonder Woman, particularly, than I was before this week. So we'll see if that happens. And that, folks, is that. So we are going to push over into the news section. But first, can we get an ad read?
Our first ad read of the night is for Wink, your personalized wine club. Wink is a world of wine delivered right to your door. From rosé to Cabernet to Torrontés, Wink has over 100 styles of wine to discover. Ever try an orange wine? Wink connects you to a world of exclusive wines tailored to your taste and delivered directly to your door. Wink delivers 4 bottles of wine to you every month with free shipping. You can pick your own bottles or let Wink choose and match to your taste. It doesn't cost a thing to become a member, and you can skip or cancel anytime. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy an exclusive discount of $20 off your first order. To place your first order with $20 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us/wink. That's cspn.us/WINC. Wink Wines through CSPN. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news is what we do about this time. First off, Tobey Maguire's new Avengers Doomsday suit detail has been revealed, or something about it at least. Apparently he's going to get a new suit, according to some rumor site person on the internet who shall remain nameless, but you can probably see it if you're watching the video version. So yeah, he's, you know, whether that ends up happening in the movie, then hey, there you go. Next up.
Alrighty, Danny Seagren, Electric Company star and the first live-action Spider-Man, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 81. He was a Jim Henson-trained puppeteer who performed on the Electric Company as a silent Spider-Man in the first live-action depiction of the Marvel superhero. He passed away November 10th.
So you know what we have to do for this particular case is
Spider-Man, where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
that wasn't exactly the version that I was gonna go for, but that's okay as long as we got the tribute out the way. But yeah, rest in peace, Electric Company Spider-Man. I finally remember. Actually, I've been watching some of those lately, so it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny and also sad that it came up. That he passed away recently. So, but yeah, rest in peace. Next up, Simu Liu says the backslide of Asian representation in Hollywood is fucking appalling. Studios think we're risky. So apparently Simu Liu took the threads on Sunday past to post a fiery message about the backslide of Asian representation in Hollywood. In the post, he included social media reports about Asian actors struggling to find fulfilling roles. Quote, put some Asians in literally anything right now, he wrote. The amount of backslide in our representation on screen is fucking appalling. Studios think we're risky, like the quote said at the top. Let's see, is there any more to this? Despite this perceived risk, Liu listed several films starring Asian actors that were critical successes, including Minari, Farewell, Past Lives, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Crazy Rich Asians, and of course his own movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. There you go. Next up.
Yeah,
I think
actually, that...
wait, so hold on for a second. I'm going to read this one last quote he said.
Sure.
He added, every single one financial success. No Asian actor has ever lost a studio even close to $100 million, but a white dude will lose $200 million twice and roll right into the next tempo lead, which is actually true. It's true.
That's true.
Yeah. We're fighting a deeply prejudiced system, and most days it sucks. He's not wrong. I mean, and that's not just for Asians, but he is absolutely not wrong all the way around on that one.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
You were gonna say?
No. It's tough to see the backsliding. It is it seemed like there was a burst of Asian representation, and then it went away. That's the worst part.
Yeah, true that.
That's the worst part.
Or in some cases have gotten like into very smaller venues. Like that's stuff that you see, but you barely hear about that stuff. And obviously, because it's Hollywood, you're not going to hear about it that deeply unless you seek it out yourself. So either way, it still fucking sucks. Next up, though.
All right, a new live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie appears to be in development. Let's see here. According to The Hollywood Reporter, producer Neil H. Moritz is now in talks to launch a brand new live-action TMNT movie franchise for Paramount Pictures. Let's see here. Okay, so I guess the project being no. This will be the first live-action TMNT movie since 2016's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, which was not a big hit at the box office. Okay.
Yeah. And the one that's still coming is that Mutant Mayhem 2 movie. So that one's still on the books.
Which is animated.
Correct.
Got it.
And I think there was another one. Actually, I don't know if it's this article or the next article or if it even says in here. But supposedly, because I remember they were saying trying to get a Last Ronin movie off the ground. I think that might have been scrapped.
Okay.
So that might, but I don't think it got, or maybe it did. Well, it's tagged down here, but I don't know if it actually got mentioned. And all. Either way, next story is actually related. Because
it just says that the Hollywood Reporter's article at this time.
Oh, you absolutely
I want some pizza now.
That's funny. Wait, say that. So what you just said again? Because you absolutely cut out.
The Last Ronin. Wait, a live-action CG animation hybrid TMNT project based on the popular The Last Ronin comic series was previously reported to be in development, but the Hollywood Reporter's article states that this project has been put back in the pizza box at this time. Like I said, I kind of want pizza now.
Right. And this was also kind of funny because I had pizza a few days ago, but I always want pizza, so that's not saying anything. And actually, yeah, in this article that I'm on right now, we could probably skip because it's actually kind of basically re-emphasizing what we just said.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to say next up, oh fudge. Here we go. Fast X director left action sequel. I almost didn't put this one in here for some odd reason, but Fast X director left action sequel because of Vin Diesel and the game-changing twist, as a new book revealed according to this article. So there's a book a book by some dude, Barry Hertz. It's called Welcome to the Family. Documents the history of Universal's Fast and Furious franchise, diving deeper into Fast X production woes. And revealing alternate plans for the sequel, such as Jason Momoa's villain Dante assembling his own Legion of Doom, made up of Dom's past enemies. But the most interesting thing, according to this article, to come out of the excerpt is why Justin Lin left the project so suddenly, leaving it in limbo. The quote is, according to several high-level sources in the production, Lin has become increasingly disillusioned due to difficulties with the studio. Lead actor Vin Diesel and Diesel's sister and producer Samantha Vincent. Things came to a head when Diesel pushed back against the twist ending that Lin was planning, in which it would be revealed that Little Brian, Diesel's character, Dom Toretto's son, was really the child of Momoa's Dante.
Yeah, I think that would not have worked.
Well,
I hate to be on Vin Diesel's side on this one, but
I mean, it would have been as dumb as almost anything else that the franchise has done. But you are right. I was like, oh, so now we're getting into soap opera stuff, and
yeah, right.
That's just dandy. So, that sounded like that was scrapped for the better. Next up, though, it's you.
I'm sorry. I was just reading the rest of this article.
It's all good. Actually, this is perfect for you.
Yeah. Netflix releases Stranger Things, a script to the first 4 seasons. How to buy the collector's item online. So, season 5 actually just dropped. Episodes 1 through 4. I watched it. So, it's leading up to the end, it's actually pretty good. I actually liked season 5, the beginning to season 5 so far. Let's see. The scripts of the first 4 seasons of Stranger Things will release in 2 volumes this fall and are now available to pre-order on Amazon. Stranger Things, the complete scripts released by Random House Worlds will give fans access to the full text of each episode, along with exclusive introductions and production notes from series creators Matt and Ross Duffer. Presented in paperback, the editions offer an archival look at the hit Netflix series from the inside out, detailing not only dialogue but stage direction and tonal cues that shape the performances and pacing of the show. Listen, sometimes, right? And I've heard this. If you want to get into script writing,
right,
reading actual scripts is really helpful.
And there are different resources out there to do just that. That have old scripts on them. Back, here and there. So
and if you want to see something that is success, if you want to see, how a successful show is written, and maybe even see, what some of the direction or what some of the notes were for maybe what didn't exactly work for you, but might have worked for others, or didn't exactly set the world on fire, but still kept the train moving, still kept the show moving. It's there, and it's probably worth taking a look at the scripts for these shows, especially if you're interested in becoming a scriptwriter or becoming a storyteller, a visual storyteller in this form.
Hell, some would argue it might help with comic writing as well. I mean,
sure, absolutely.
Written in similar ways, from what I understand.
Absolutely.
But anywho, so therein lies that. And I was about to say something about I kind of wish sometimes that they would include the stuff that gets not used. They took out, but I understand the reasoning why you wouldn't.
Sure.
So, anywho, we're going to get over into the anime/manga section really quick. Jujutsu Kaisen, Nobara and Yuji's romance gets a definite answer. So apparently a Jujutsu Kaisen voice actor recently shared whether Itadori Yuji and Kuzusaki Nobara will have a romance. I did not honestly have never thought of that even in remotely, but that's just me. They are the two central characters in the manga as well as the anime, which is true. And they're talking about the movie that is playing in Japanese theaters as we speak. Let's see. So this is the dude that does the English dub for UG, and he has an answer. If you want to find out what that answer is, you can read this article for yourself. Ha 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 ha. Next up.
The Dark Moon universe from Hybe and K-pop sensations in Hyphen is back. Dark Moon, Two Moons launches around the world this Sunday. Launched around the world this past Sunday on the Webtoon platform. It rolled out to North America, Latin America, Thailand, and Korea on the 28th. Readers in Japan and Indonesia on November 29th. The sequel arrives 2 years after Dark Moon, The Blood Altar, and follows the surprise announcement of the Dark Moon, The Blood Altar anime a few months ago. Okay.
That just reminded me of something, but I know there is an article that will bring me back to the point of something that happened recently. On a thing. You'll understand when we get there.
Yeah, I was about to say. So let me. No, there's a couple of things here to kind of clear up any questions about what this is about.
Sure.
The webtoon was created in conjunction with Hyphen and the legendary K-pop management company Hybe, and racked up 20 million views worldwide with its mix of vampires, werewolves, school drama, and intricate world building. Twilight, anybody?
Damn, that's kind of fucked up, but yeah, basically. But also, you know, given there's a K-pop a group in it, that I'm sure, you know, 18 million of those views were possibly for you know what? That's being not nice. I would say 11 million. How about that? Just, you know, because let's face it, because everything that was just said, you know, there are anime manga fans who are all up in that. So, you know.
I mean, it's a boy band in Hyphen.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the addition of a boy band in it would just, you know.
There's 7 of these Jeez.
I wonder if that's that group. Yeah, because I think this might have been a group. I saw somebody told me about. I was watching some stream and somebody said there was a group with 48 members in it. And I'm sitting here like, how does that even work? But I think there was a video out there with that group. I'm saying like that's absolutely crazy.
I'm looking at this like, yo, there's a bunch of these dudes. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild and crazy. I'm going to put that in for next week and move on to the next story, which is comic book news.
All right.
Yeah, hit me up.
Okay.
This kind of preposterous cover aside, Duke meets Optimus Prime. G.I. Joe triggers the biggest Energon universe crossover yet, which we kind of figured was coming at some point. Well, shucks.
Poppin'.
Don't tell me my battery ran out again. Jesus. G.I. Joe 19 arrives February 18th, 2026, and G.I. Joe 20 follows on March 18th. So they're going back to monthly at some point, I guess. And I guess so. If you're watching the video, if you're not watching the video version, you are seeing partial of a cover for 19 where Duke and Hound, picture that, are butting heads with Clutch in the middle. again, picture that. a big ass Hypertronian and a human, and their butt has, and another human is just trying to get in the middle of them. Now that you have pictured that, that's absolutely crazy. But also it's a cover, so you know you gotta take it for what it is. There we go. It lives. Oh, there we go. So yeah, let's see. Skybound Image and Hasbro are shaking up the Energon universe in a big way with 2 massive G.I. Joe issues, the ones I just mentioned. Let's see. And yes, the moment fans have been waiting for is finally here. Duke and Optimus Prime are meeting face to face for the first time in the Energon universe. How does it all go down? It involves Clutch, Hound, and Matt Tracker. Nice. Wait, now
I was gonna say one of the variant covers is a gigantic spoiler.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a gigantic spoiler.
Technically, 2 of them are actually, but yeah, I don't. Well, yeah. I'll leave it at that. 2 of them are. Right. And if you just watch the video version, you have seen them. But yes, folks, if you heard that last name that I just mentioned, you heard correctly. Matt Tracker. And you know, if you're of a certain vintage, you know where Matt Tracker comes from, and therefore may or may not be excited about this. I know there are folks that are very much excited for this. And we saw this,
and the rest of us are just like, wait a second, what?
Well, and again,
like, wait a second, hold on. Who? I mean, I kind of don't have that exact reaction that Korath would do. But
I thought you watched it.
What's
I thought you at least seen an episode of Mask.
I have, but I didn't know the lore nearly as well as G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Oh, sure, and obviously the cartoons never connected like they have, like they're doing here, and they tried to do at what was it, the IDW proper or wherever the last place it was Boom.
Right.
Was it Boom? Wherever they tried to do,
it was IDW.
Yeah, wherever they tried to do the last shared universe with Hasbro, and it didn't quite work out. So, and also I don't know why I'm getting echo myself. That is disturbing. Anyway, regardless, like I said, we kind of know this was gonna happen. Something was gonna happen. Especially with what's been going on with the last couple of issues. And I think we even possibly said, it was like, you know what, whatever is going to happen in this Dreadnought war is probably going to lead to a meeting like this. So not that big of a surprise, but still good to see that, you know, the mass tie is also you know, that's some extra gravy on it. At least for me, I'll say. So yeah, like I said, there is the cover for 19. There is the particulars. We'll scroll back down here to the variant covers. There you go. You're welcome if you're watching the video version. And we move on. Next up.
Alrighty, next up. Milestone returns with a new sequel, The New History of the DC Universe, The Dakota Incident for 2026. The one-shot explores a dramatic clash between Dakota's heroes and the U.S. government after a murder. Major Milestone characters like Static and Rocket face tough sacrifices to protect their community. This new history project sets the stage for possible future Milestone relaunches within DC Comics.
Which is weird considering the thought that that's what they had been doing with the stuff they've been doing in the last couple of years. But okay.
But it's kind of cool that they're using this to retroactively tie in everything that's, you know, from the Dakota side of the DC universe into the DC universe.
And we have
talk about retcons. That is a clear retcon.
Yeah. So yeah. You know, I'm about to say there's not really no other way to say it, honestly. That would be any different. So they've tried before, and it's like, well, they really didn't. It really never fit in. So, or they never really made any real big sweeping tries to integrate these folks into the DC universe proper. So I feel like they still kind of kept on in their own world within reason. So either way, that is the thing. But yeah, Joseph P. Illich, editor extraordinaire, writer, also with Stephanie Williams and Morgan Hampton and Nicholas Dripper Ivory, all contributing to this, with artists Carlo Pagulayan, Valentine Delandro, and Edwin Gallman. And, fan covers by folks you would expect, like Dennis Cowan. So, and of course, it's on sale to February 25, 2026. Excuse me. So, I was going to say just in time for the end of Black History Month. So there you go. Next up there, DC Comics' Absolute line is taking off because readers are starving for comics with vision, not corporate spin-offs, according to this article, which seems more like an editorializing and not much else. But so, and actually, you know what? As I'm reading this thing, and while there is a quote from Scott Snyder in this, it definitely does seem like this is coming off of an interview with Scott Snyder about his thoughts about the Absolute Universe. So you can check that out for yourself if you so in the show notes if you're so inclined. Next up.
Yeah, speaking of another article that's talking about numbers, DC Comics is apparently dominating the top 20 anticipated comics for this current week. But I think it's not fair because of timing.
Right.
So if you're looking at what came out this week, we got kind of the heavyweights of the Absolute Universe, Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman, in addition to DC KO. And we're talking about a lot of the DC KO tie-ins as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a relatively light Marvel week. So it's, this is a whole bunch of hyperbole if you ask me. But, that's kind of how I read this.
Yeah, like I said, you're not wrong. Yeah, not wrong. Also, there's a typo in here. Site that shall not be named. Bleeding cool. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I guess it was named. Oops. Next up, DC just settled the Absolute Universe's most important character. Now, who might that be, I wonder? Could it be, I don't know, a speedster? It certainly is. And since there's only one speedster in the Absolute Universe at this point, as far as I know, you can think of about that person's name, let's say, Anna Flash. Yuck. But yeah, it's Wally West. It sounds like he's being set up for the most important character in the universe, as speedsters tend to do in the DC universe.
Yeah, seriously. That's kind of not a, that's not a special thing for the DC universe.
Right. Now, depending on how they could be flipping it in a different way, though. So, because according to this article, his powers don't come from the Speed Force, which actually leads me to questions that make me want to read this. When I heard that in the initial pitch, because it was like, so Barry's not around. As far as we know, the Speed Force is not there, and all of a sudden, and this dude's just like running out there for whatever reason. So I wanted to actually look into this to see, well, how, when, and what happened, and why. So, and actually, I guess this article kind of goes into how, but I'm not going to read that. I'll just read that later. So yeah, therein lies that. Next up, though.
So it was teased in the first issue of DC KO, in February 2026. It seems like the Absolute Universe versions of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman are about to enter the mainstream DC universe. but is everything as it seems? So the advanced description of DCKO number 4, the penultimate issue of the series, reads 3 mysterious new Omega charged fighters have entered the tournament, and this trinity of the Absolute will change the face of the DCU forever. It's all down to how far the final 4 are willing to go to win in the penultimate chapter of DCKO, plus booster, some other stuff going on in DCKO number 4. So, I'm trying to figure out how these 3 characters are going to play, or how they're going to be portrayed in DCKO.
Right. So I would suspect it might be a fairly decent time to catch up with the Absolute Universe if you are not already before that happens. If you care enough.
I mean,
to do
it's
so.
hard, it's tough because the Absolute universe is pretty big now. Right. They've incorporated a lot of characters. Obviously, you're meant to focus on the Trinity here. But I've only really been able to keep up with Batman and Wonder Woman. I dropped Superman a long time ago. So
right. And
it's a little tough. It's a lot of reading.
Yeah. And I haven't even been doing that much. Like I said, the only one that I've been reading is Absolute Green Lantern, which actually comes out next week now that I think about it. But man, that's the only one I've been
keeping up with. All right.
So but yeah, I've been meaning to hit up some of these other books for science reasons. Next up, as we continue this Absolute train, DC2 revealed the secret history of the Absolute Universe and how it changes Superman's place in it all. So Absolute Hawkman is coming back, and he's got, according to this byline, he's got a few things to say to Superman. Let's see. Because I guess that's that one story where he did show up. Wasn't it that bad guy's book? I don't know. Regardless, oh yeah, Absolute Evil. Yep, number 1. So there was that. Let's see, it's been 2 months since Hawkman was introduced, or there we go. Absolute Hawkman was introduced, and apparently he's a bad guy. Spoiler. And the spoiler did some things. So, and that's when you'll end up finding out this coming February, what became of that character. So, yeah, you'll find out. Absolute Superman number 16 will be the book in question, and that's going to be out February 4th, 2026. And you can see some pages. Or you can see the cover in this article if you're so inclined. Next up.
Philip Kennedy Johnson, the fan favorite writer who has done beloved work on the Superman and Batman families of titles at DC, has signed a multi-year contract with Marvel. Beginning in January 26, he will join fellow former Superman scribe Brian Michael Bendis, who also recently announced he will return to Marvel with Avengers number 800. So the announcement comes ahead of the latest issue of Johnson's Infernal Hulk, which arrived this week, obviously. In a press release, Johnson clarified that his currently ongoing work at DC, including Adventures of Superman and Batman and Robin, will be allowed to wrap up their originally planned stories.
Which is usually nice when they let that happen.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Next up, though, Hulk smashes into iconic MCU. I hate it when they do that. Hulk smashes an iconic MCU superhero, and this article has the first look for, and also spoilers for, Hulk smashes everything number 1, which I guess comes out next week. Still, so this talks about that Marvel all on one that Ryan North wrote a little while ago, which we enjoyed, and apparently Ryan North is back again for this. So Hulk smashes everything, where, as this article say, where Hulk takes on, well, everyone. So so sorry about that, folks. I have no idea what what's going on outside my door. But CBR has a exclusive preview of the first issue by North and artist Vincenzo Carratù, colorist Federico Blee, and letterer Joe Caramagna. So, which shows the Jade Giant taking on one of the biggest Marvel Cinematic Universe superheroes, Doctor Strange, in a brutal attack. Spoiler alert. And that's that's Hulk Smashes Everything is a mini series, is a 5-issue limited series, excuse me. So therein lies that. And when does this come out? Did I say? Did it say? Oh, next week. It did say next week. Never mind. Next up.
Alrighty, next up. Sorry, I got caught up diving into this particular article. How Marvel is reinventing Iron Man for 2026. So Joshua Williamson will be relaunching Iron Man with artist Carmen Carnero. This article talks about, Williamson's jump from DC to Marvel. Let's see. Apparently, they're going to be exploring Tony Stark's dangerous mind. As I walk through the valley of the shadow.
All right.
Oh my God! Shout out to Coolio. Rest in peace.
Indeed. I think I first saw this there was a link to Joshua Williams' Substack, which I did not read, but luckily this article came out. There were, I was about to say where I didn't have to, but but yeah. I mean, we'll probably be checking it out, so we'll let y'all know what we find out when this book pops up next year. Next up, though.
God, so scared to be talking about next year, but obviously it is almost December.
It is very, 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 very soon, yes. Tim Seeley quits Twitter after online response to Marvel's Magic comic, which actually I was on that at the beginning and kind of slid off of it unintentionally. So let's see. Apparently, fans reacted strongly to a story arc, raising concerns about trauma and character direction. And apparently, Tim Seeley did like other people did and just went to Blue Sky because of social media rah-rah and rabble, as our very own Tim would say, Tim Doc would say. So, yeah, if that happens, that still continues to happen. So there you go. Next up.
Okay, I'm not reading that article. Let's see. Marvel set to blow up the X-Men status quo and rebuild it into the wildest mutant school ever. This March, X-Men United, a bold new ongoing X-Men series by Eve L. Ewing and Tiago Palma, reopens the door to the X-Men School for Mutant Kind. This March, Marvel is kicking off a bold new era for mutant kind with X-Men United, the flagship series of the upcoming Shadows of Tomorrow lineup. The series brings together, like I said, Eve L. Ewing, fresh off of Exceptional X-Men, and artist Tiago Palma. Let's see here. The premise: every corner of X history, every generation, team, and ideology comes crashing together under a single massive initiative, Gray Matter Lane. Okay. That's wild.
Yeah. And I guess some of this other stuff makes sense because given what's going on in Exceptional.
Yeah.
So
X-Men United. That's so funny.
yeah.
So it's going to form the center point of the mutant world, according to conductor of X, Tom Brevoort.
It's almost as if they said, "Hey, they're doing Justice League Unlimited. We should do something for the X Corner." Similarly, but that shouldn't be possible. That can't be the case. That's me being way sarcastic for no reason. And I don't apologize for it. But the cover, hey, you know what? This cover looks good.
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, we had already seen prior to Age of Revelation that each of the X teams were doing similar things, but in their own way. So in a sense, it does make some sense that they would, does make some sense. That's terrible wording. It would make sense that they would see that and figure out a way to come together and do it together. You know?
True.
And
True.
and it makes it does, you know, kind of connect all of the teams together the way they were kind of set against each other at the beginning of this most recent reboot of X post Krakoa.
And speaking of, we had Krakoa, so all of this could have happened then and kept going. But anyway,
Yeah.
But it is now in the past. 2 new Marvel projects from Chris Claremont are apparently maybe coming next year. So let's see. Apparently, it was recently Chris Claremont's 75th birthday. I guess he is also still exclusive to Marvel, even though I don't know if we haven't seen. I feel like we knew he had stuff coming down the pipe, but it wasn't like a whole big. Or there was some. We knew there was stuff he wanted to do that he is not going to talk about because he wasn't sure he was going to get the chance to do it, and I feel like there was some stuff that he was working on for Marvel, but nothing that kind of came out. So maybe this is part of that. I don't know. Regardless, this is basically going through his history and not necessarily that much about the projects. So I guess we'll find out next year if indeed what those projects are and when they'll come out. There you go. Next up.
Next March, Dani Moonstar finally strikes out on her own in Moonstar by Ashley Allen and Eduardo Ordina, the first time the New Mutants fan favorite has led her own comic book series. This is going to be, let's see. This is going on sale March 4th. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries written by Ashley Allen and art by Eduardo Ordina.
So, as a fan of Dani Moonstar, definitely will be checking this out. But also, it reminds me of something that happened this week. What was that? That Age of Revelation book? X-Vengers, whatever it is.
X-Vengers, right?
Yeah, that came out this week, and the cover is Dani holding some would say an iconic symbol. And for some, and that made me buy that issue of the book, even though I have not read any of that stuff out of that just out of that event.
Listen, there's so many tie-in books coming out of that, so it's just too hard. You know, we read a lot, folks. You know, it's a lot to ask for us to read.
Except for me this week, but yes, that is generally true.
Generally, we read a lot, and obviously, it is definitely a relatively infrequent occurrence where Roddykat reads relatively few books and I read far more than he did.
Right.
You know, it's very much usually the other way around.
We usually average 5 apiece. So we give or take a book. Depending on the book. Depending on the week. So.
But even still, when it comes to trying to catch up, like reading off week books, we still read a lot, and there's just too much sometimes to keep up with. And for storylines like this, where we try to read, sometimes all we can muster is reading the main miniseries.
What's that? Another thing about it, hadn't even done that one for that particular thing, but.
Right, I've been keeping up with the main miniseries as best as I can, but it's not easy.
Sure, absolutely. But back to this book with Dani Moonstar and these covers. If you're watching the video version, there's some nice looking covers here for this book. So
yeah, it's about time that Dani got some shine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, like I said, we will be looking out for that in March of next year to see what old Danny gets into. Next up, oh yes, the thing that we alluded to earlier. Ha 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 ha. I will go so far as to say right now, actually, yes, happy Marvel Cosmic Invasion Eve to everyone. Ah! Because as we are recording on Sunday, the last day of November, and Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the video game, comes out on the 1st of December, which of course is the next day after we record. So probably by the time you hear this on the audio version, it's probably out and we're probably already playing it. Or we'll be playing it on stream. I'll just go ahead and say that again. I'll say that right now. But this particular article that I'm talking about right now is talking about the physical versions of the game, which is not going to come out until March 13th of next year. So the digital versions come out on December 1st, like we said. And in fact, I'm just going to pull up this nice little chart for the folks that are watching the video version on the global release timings. All if you are in the States on the East Coast, it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern. And of course, if you are on the West Coast, it'll be 8 a.m. Pacific. So, and then of course, for all other points across the world, the release is going. So yeah, like I said, both Ages 70 and I have been looking forward to this game. I have already played. I don't know. Did you actually play the demo? I don't remember if you did.
I have not.
Okay, well, I did, and there's video proof of that. But the full releases will be coming out tomorrow, and I will absolutely will be playing it again. So
yes, thanks to Roddykat, I logged into the PS app and I have the game set up on my wish list.
Mm-hmm.
So I should get a notification to download it, to buy it and download it.
Mm-hmm. And even if you don't, now we know when it's supposed to drop, and get a second to pull the trigger. But the physical version is going to come with like art cards. Let's see, premium character art cards, a set of sticker sheets, a poster, and a collectible art box. There are pre-orders that are going on right now, and the pricing of the game for that that are listed here. So it's $40 for PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Switch. For the standard edition, Switch 2 is $49.99. I'm not sure why the Switch 2 is more expensive, but And of course, the deluxe edition is $59.99 for PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch 1, and Switch 2 is $69.99, which is normally a full price game at this point. So I don't understand the Switch 2 pricing. Well, let me phrase that. I do understand it. I just don't like it. Put it that way. Because it should not demand that for a Switch. Anyway, that's just me. And that's that. Next up.
Okay. Dotemu releases Marvel Cosmic Invasion's opening cinematic deep dive look into the classic comics inspiring the game. So you can take a look through this article and see the opening cinematic for Cosmic Invasion. And you can watch that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And they also stopped into a comic book store to take a look at some of the storylines that inspired this game.
And I believe it is also, if you are a part of Marvel Unlimited, they also have done so there as well. Because I think I did get an email about that particular thing. Or no, actually, I was in the app and I think I saw something about it. Or no, I got a notification from the app about it. Regardless, that information is out there. And of course, like I said, you could either look at this article for the link to the YouTube for the must-read list, or it's in the clickbait section of the of this week's show. So for the direct link, as Agent 70, when I sent him this article, not this article, but the link to the YouTube video, he, being reminded of an event that we, one, covered, and two, how long ago it was that the event actually happened, you know, kind of sobering.
Oh God.
Kind of sobering.
I think when they it was a reminder of when the original Annihilation event happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, man.
I'm too old for this shit.
Indeed. And
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So we move along to the next one, which is
ThunderCats are. Oh, you want to take the? Yeah, this is yours. I think.
This is me. Yeah. So, Humble Bundle has a bundle for ThunderCats and Friends from Dynamite Dynamite Entertainment. Excuse me. It is basically the first arc of ThunderCats Lost. Is the ThunderCats Powerpuff Girls crossover. You also get some Powerpuff Girls books. You also get the T'Challa miniseries. You get some Space Ghosts, Wacky Racers.
Silverhawks.
Huh?
You get some Silverhawks too.
Yes, you get some Silverhawks. You get some Space Ghosts. You get the Apex one shot. You get Wacky Racers. You get the Blue Falcon and Dynamite, which I still haven't read that book. Just got some Johnny Quest, some Captain Planet. Again, like I said, Space Ghost, Hercules, which that's another book I was going to catch up on, and of course, like I said, almost pretty much up to date. Well, let's see, this says 18, so yeah, I was about to say on almost up to
a couple
this
issues
issue,
short, right
of ThunderCats. So, but it's regardless. Oh yeah, and also that Space Ghost Johnny Quest miniseries. I mean, limited series, and of course, like I said, Captain Planet and a bunch of. So that being said, you get a lot of stuff, folks. And if you don't know how Humble Bundle works, it's a charity thing. You can pay the price that they set for this, or you can give more or less. It's not free, but but also there's tiers to it, because I think the price that they set for it, or which you can go over if you want to.
Right. If you pay $1, you get 10 items. If you pay $25, you get everything.
Right. So, and anything past that, of course, you're still getting everything. So,
right.
It's a good bundle of books, and that's what the good thing about Humble Bundle, because it's like, what, this stuff is, as it says here, $474 value, but you can get all of that for $25 if you want to, or
absolutely,
or some other price, and it's for charity. So. It is the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, to be specific.
That's pretty cool.
Or I think you can actually adjust. You can adjust your donation for true, or I think where it goes. But I think some of them are specific to where they go.
It looks like this one goes to CBLDF.
Yeah, it does. But I'm saying in some bundles you can change. You can change where it goes, but not this one. I don't think this one is that case. But like I said, a lot of books, good cause. And some good books, some very good books, as we have been talking about these for the past few months. So
cool.
Yeah, so check that out. And it's also it's time limited. Most Humble Bundles are time limited. At the time that we are recording, there are 10 days left on this bundle, specifically 10 days and 14 hours. And so get in on that as soon as you hear this or see this.
Yes, please do. Need to support and give to a good and worthy charity.
Absolutely. And this is entire 94 item bundle. There you go. Next up, you want me to take this one?
Your audio dropped.
Oh, you want me to?
I was about to say your audio dropped for a second.
Yeah, so, I don't know what's going on.
All right, Avatar, Fire and Ash, Popcorn Buckets. I mean, this is a Roddykat story. Avatar, Fire and Ash, Popcorn Buckets at AMC, Regal, and Cinemark movie theaters. So they share a limited quantity collectible popcorn bucket designed to look like an Ikran, also known as a Banshee. The popcorn is stored inside a woven basket atop the Banshee's back. Okay.
And the only reason why I knew about this particular popcorn bucket was a friend of mine who was into Avatar, the blue people, not the Last Airbender told me about this bucket.
Oh, this is the blue people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the blue people.
Oh, so this is the cat people. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Not the benders.
I thought these were the benders. My bad.
No.
I mean, I'm gonna make fun of it either way.
Yeah, I know, but you know, it is
Cat people.
it is, and of course, there's other stuff. They got the cups with toppers, popcorn tins, the usual stuff that
Gotcha.
theaters would have with this. And I believe this thing's like $70.
What?
I believe. I saw the price of it.
Wait, so this is Fire and Ash. They're bringing dragons to the cat people world.
I mean, they've already had like flying things. Now I don't know about dragons, but yeah, I lost the. Actually, I never had the thread of Avatar. So I mean, outside of Dances with Wolves in Space, but
it would seem to me like they're going to be dragons.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw part of the commercial and I was like, I actually don't care enough. So but regardless, that is that, and it's popcorn bucket, and when that movie comes out, these will be available, I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure their merch site will probably have, unless it's one of those limited things that sometimes sell out on that site. You may or may not be able to get them, but hey, if you want it, you better get it when you can. Next up, this is definitely a Agent 70 story, but I'm going to take it because I don't think I put any actual notes on it. But there's an art book for K-pop demon hunters that is out there on a website that Netflix is sponsored. I'm not going to click on anything because it will definitely kick into some hunters, huntix music if I click the thing. But you can go to the site that is listed in the show notes, which is basically theartofkpopdemonhunters.com, and check out the art book that they have here. I do not believe you can download it, as far as I know, and listen to the music from K-pop demon hunters as it fills your brain while you're reading this art book on a digital site. You're welcome, I guess. Next up, though.
Alrighty.
Oh wait, actually, before next, there was something else I forgot to put in the lineup that was also K-pop demon hunter related, because the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade just happened this past Thanksgiving, and there was a K-pop demon hunter float, and I thought I put the article in there of what the float was, but I don't see it in there.
Derpy. It was Derpy the tiger and Sussy the bird.
Yes.
But the fictional group / real group, the singers behind the fictional group, also performed on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and interestingly, of note, the
oh, now you just cut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's wild. The time slot for the K-pop demon hunters appearing to sing Golden was I think the highest rated portion of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah,
and like kind of rivals like sports viewership.
Yeah, like I said, not surprised about that. And of course, while we're at it, I'm just going to say real quick, Goku had his float there. Spidey had his float there. There was a couple others that had a float there. But this is
they had a couple of cool music guests as well. On top of the K-pop demon hunter singers, Busta Rhymes had an appearance with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles float, I believe.
Nice.
So
I think I heard that Kool and the Gang was there, but I didn't see it. I have it recorded, but I have not watched it. But I would breeze through that real quick just to see this stuff. And of course, there was also an article and or video for the day before where stuff was getting blown up. The balloons were getting blown up, so that was kind of a thing. But anyway, the Art of K-pop Demon Hunters is out there, folks, on this website. You can go check it out. Like I said, check it out in the show notes for the link that I've already told you about. Next up, though, You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and take this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take these last two because you don't care.
Sure.
But it's Magic the Gathering related, hence the reason why I know he doesn't care. So there was going to be a secret layer with Monster Hunter, that popular, I say popular because I like it, but video game franchise, which it is popular, honestly. But apparently there was some rabble and hubbub out there, and they was like, nah, we're not going to do it right now. We're just going to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what the specifics on the hubbub was, but they're basically, and I think this is the first time they have done this in a good while, if ever. But what you're seeing on the screen now, if you're watching the video version, is basically Wizards of the Coast saying, you know what, hey, y'all didn't like this thing, so we're gonna we're gonna dial this back and come back next year and do this again, and hopefully we'll change enough to where you will like it. And they were like, yeah, we like Monster Hunter too, so we don't want to give any poor product, but yeah. So they realized that for this first article. And the last article is Wizards ends 17-year-old Magic the Gathering promo program in latest controversial move. So the buy a box promo box is going away after 17 years, and I don't think I've ever taken advantage of that, so I don't know too much about it. But it's going to end with the Lower Wind Eclipse set, which it comes out January, which again is a whole little over a month away, because they do releases like every 2 weeks, seems like. But anyway, the news was included in the latest WPN update, the Wizards Play Network, that's what that's called. And apparently one of the buy a box was a special card that it was included with Magic the Gathering booster boxes, and there were either alternate art cards or exclusive cards. I don't know if the box that I'm currently sitting next to is a part of that or not, but I will, when I crack these things, I will find out. So yeah, people are mad, and yeah, and they're getting rid of this for whatever odd reason. So I don't know if they're gonna follow it up with anything new or just let it lie. I'm just mad that they got rid of digital. You buy a box of cards. One, I'm just mad because they got rid of digital card codes for Arena when you buy physical cards, because that was cool and nice. But of course, why would they be cool and nice when they're losing money? Not losing money, because they're making money hand over fist, but regardless, that is a whole thing, and that is the end of the news section for tonight. Before we go into the last ad read, really, really, really quick, I got a little bit of show and tell. Very little show and tell.
Alrighty.
Because guess what, folks? It's time for Animaniacs. Because I just got the complete box set right up in here.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. Got it recent. I think I got it before Black Friday, actually, but because I can't remember how much it is. Regardless, it's a thing. It's out there, just in case you're scared that it's going to go away from streaming, and you can now have the whole thing, including, I guess it also comes with the movie, Wacko's Wish movie, apparently. So yeah, that's
tempting.
Yeah. I was like, I saw it and was like, you know what? That's a fairly decent price. So let me just go ahead and jump on this right now.
Did you get that at brick and mortar, or did you get that?
Amazon.
Oh, I gotta look that up now.
Yeah, I forgot how much it was. And I'm pretty sure now, Black Friday, between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is
hours away.
Not even hours. Yeah, this is like it's like minutes away. So there's something out there for that, I'm sure. But
right, so that's a regular DVD, not a Blu-ray.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think they made. I looked for that. I don't think they made a Blu-ray copy of Anime, because Animated 6, because I would have definitely have gotten that one if they had.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. So
interesting.
But yeah, that's that. That was my show and tell for that. And now we can get into the last ad read.
The last ad read of the night is for Amazon. Keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Speaking of, visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today. But at the same time, you should really try to shop local and support your local stores during the Christmas season.
Oh, absolutely. You know, yes. For much that you can. So, and also most, a lot of Amazon, especially Black Friday stuff, is not that great. Or honestly, you could say that about brick and mortar also, because stuff gets marked up and marked back down and called to sell. So, right. But yeah, Amazon, sometimes you can find some stuff, but yes, definitely support locally if you can.
If you can. If the opportunity is there, please do. Yeah.
Although I could do a small rant about game shops, but I won't do that because you still want us to support them. Anyway, that is it for this particular show. Before we roll out, I would just say that again, it is Marvel Cosmic Invasion Eve. In few short hours, we will have that in our grubby little digital hands. It will be played on twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicle sometime this week. I guarantee you that, as well as another weirdly enough related game called Comic Book Store Simulator. That will probably get some play sometime this week. Definitely, that's not going to be from Agent 70. I can probably promise you that one. But maybe we can get him on stream for Marvel Comics Invasion. We don't know. We'll see. We'll find out because I know he's a busy man. But so we'll see. Regardless, though, that's twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles. If you're not already checking us out there, hey, do so. Because sometimes we stream video games, but mostly it's this podcast. And with that, folks, I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter, Blue Sky, and those other places. You can find me at CB Caps on Twitter and Blue Sky. Excuse me, why did I say that? You can find me at News Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CB Caps on Instagram. There we go. Agent_70 on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. You can find his here podcast on Cold Slither Podcast Network, that's ESPN.us.
Do it today.
And you can find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google also, by the way, in case y'all thought I might have missed that on purpose. And the Cold Slither Podcast Network's SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Yep, we will be back this Thursday with a regular show, which will be 9:30/10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
All righty, make sure to click like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know when we're on live and direct. Press that like, hit that smash that like button. That's what I was searching for.
Yeah, indeed. All right, folks, we're out here. See, like I said, we'll see y'all very soon. This has been Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?